Thank you again for joining us for this latest episode of Xobin Talks. Today, I have with me Deepika Pundir. The reason why we are speaking to Deepika is on this podcast, we've got a lot of experienced folks from Fortune 500 companies. We've got folks from Accenture, from Capgemini, with 20, 25 years of experience. And I know some of you have reached out to me and said that, okay, can we have someone who is more millennial, more young, so that we can ask them the questions which are more relevant to our generation? That's the reason why we have Deepika. She's a young HR. She has around 4 to 5 years of experience in this particular industry. Deepika, welcome to the Xobin Talk podcast.
Thank you so much, Amrit. Thank you for having me here today. I'm really excited. And if I have to my brief introduction, I'm born and brought up in Himachal Pradesh. I completed my graduation from Shillong University, Solon, and after that, I embarked on this beautiful journey of HR. And it's been over 4 years, and I have been involved in different aspects of HR. And yeah, today I'm really excited to share my insight and discuss my experiences.
So backstage, you were telling us that you came from a science background. Now, how
Right.
did that switch from science to HR happen? Because a lot of people also have this question that can I jump to HR from another industry after studying something else, or do I have to do a formal MBA or some kind of an HR degree? So, how did your switch happen into HR?
Okay, so to be very honest, when I was pursuing my graduation and I was pursuing BSc in food technology, which is totally different what I am doing today.
Hmm.
And to be very honest, I didn't have any idea what HR is actually about. It was my final semester and it was just, family financial issues that I was just looking for any kind of opportunity. Somehow, I couldn't pursue my further studies and I had to, stand on my foot that time. So I was just exploring opportunities and I was positive that, I will get something and I will start working. But I had no idea that I will end up with HR profile. So it was my final semester. I was just undergraduate and, there was this one startup who were hiring freshers and trainees and interns and I just gave my shot. And luckily I got shortlisted and still starting 6 or 7 months, it was just, a different place for me because I had no idea what it is. I was just learning and exploring, but I was really excited that, now I am earning money and, I am independent. So, yeah, but now it's been 4 years. I'm into this industry and, I don't regret my decision that, I shifted from food technology to HR profile. So, yeah.
So, how's the life as an HR at a startup? What inherent traits do you have, or should an individual have, that would make them a fit for this role? Because it's not for everyone. Not everybody succeeds, and if you didn't like it, you probably would have quit after some time. So, what do you think has made you stick, and why do you think you were a right fit for this role, and you're continuing with it for 4 years?
So, when I started working as an HR, so I had this one of my friends. So I was always, quite extrovert and I always had interest in public speaking. And in my school and colleges, I used to always participate in other extracurriculum activities. So I will always wanted to hold a position, where there are people who are working under with me and I have that power and position in the company, right? And there was this one friend who mentioned that you will be in HR and you will be handling everything, you will be processing salary of everyone, you will have your own cabin and everything. And I was really excited, and that was my only reason ki, yeah, this is what I want my cabin and I want my chair and I want people who are working under me and who come to me and ask for permission like, ma'am, we need leave and this. So that was the only reason. And when I entered into HR profile, my core responsibility from the starting, it was recruitment only. I was like, my major responsibilities were handling the recruitment process. So for the person like me, who has no knowledge, so I would say that there are challenges at every step in the recruitment process when we talk about the small company and MSMEs, right?
Okay.
And it start from attracting the talent. That's the first step, that you have to attract the talent, and that's the most and first challenge you face. So first thing, you should be mentally prepared, right? And you should actually accept the fact that, if you're working for a small company, so there will be challenges. You might not have a competitive salary budget. You might not be offering, perks and benefits that other companies are offering, and you might not have a brand awareness. So you have to, find out your own way to, attract the talent and to, brand your company.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do so, we talk hundred of candidates, and majority of them just ignore our messages and emails and calls just because they have not heard about our company,
Mm-hmm.
right? And few of them, will not show up on the day of joining or on the day of interview. Few will decline your, offer letters. So it just that, you have to be really mentally prepared that, yeah, you will have limited resources and you have to put extra efforts, and still there are chances that you will face rejection and a lot of challenges at the every step of, your recruitment process. So yeah.
One thing is being mentally prepared, but is there anything else that you can do to improve the branding or improve the acceptance rate or improve the fact that people come and join your company? Any of these things? Is there any one specific area that you have taken and said, and you've seen over your experience that, okay, if I do this, probably I've seen an improvement in this particular aspect?
Right. I believe, being a small company, your online presence play an important role.
Okay.
The company website and your social media presence, that's the first thing and the basic thing. And it can be an important tool to, meet your recruitment goals, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So if we talk about online presence, we have two kind of audience. One is our clients and customer who get us the business. Second is our candidate database and talent pool, right? And being a company owner or a small company, we mostly emphasize on the first audience, that is a client. So on
Mm-hmm.
social media, we post about our services, offerings, milestones, and achievement, right? And but somehow, we forget or less focus on our second audience. What usually happen when candidate come across any job vacancy in any company, first they head to your company website, their, social media, and your Google reviews and your Glassdoor reviews. Even if you will check
Mm-hmm.
in the Google review section, they will first check out your negative reviews, right? They don't even check positive reviews. They will go directly to the negative reviews. They, actually want to look inside your company. They
Mhm.
want to know about your team, about your office, about your work culture. And I believe it's our responsibility that, when someone is visiting your social media, your website, there is something worth visiting, right? I think, social media is not just about tweeting or posting job vacancies or, stock images. You
Mhm.
can utilize it in a better way. And
That's good, I think. So employer branding via social media is something that you're saying has
right,
worked best for you.
right.
Interesting. Now here's something else. Most of the startups have a certain population which is very, very young. And people who are 35 or 40 say that, this startup is not for me because it's only for youngsters. Have you dealt with this kind of a situation? It's probably reverse ageism, where you are overlooking people who are highly experienced because of their age. Have you tackled that?
See, in my personal experience, I didn't come across any such situation. But
Hmm.
to answer your question, I believe there are two situations, right? One is when it comes to job hunting as a fresher or as a graduate, there is this one common concern that they don't have enough experience to get a job, right? And once the same person or professional get a few years of experience in the industry, then they start worry that now they have too much experience, right? So basically, experience is supposed to be a factor that, provides them a competitive edge for the, professional experience who have more than 8 or 10 to 15 year of experience in the industry. But I believe here, if we talk about the small companies, the major factor is money and the limited or tight budget of the company.
Hmm.
So what happens is, when a professional who has worked in the industry for 10 to 15 years, they command higher pay, they command higher salary, which is totally okay because they have worked really hard for that. And they just don't want to sell their, hard earned skill just for a junior salary bracket.
Hmm.
And This leads companies to approach and to prefer junior profiles and junior developers and the junior candidates or the freshers or interns, right, who they think that they have potential, they have the right skills, and of course the main point, the salary is in the company's budget.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe, like personally, I have not discredit any application just because they are older or they have more experience. If there is candidate who is young, who has potential, and salary is in my budget, we hire them. At the same time, if we have candidate, who is 35, 40, or who has 10 to 15 year of experience, who has up to date knowledge, and salary is in our budget, we hire them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's more about the, that limited budget. Money plays an important factor here.
Okay. As an HR at a startup and probably a mid-sized company as well, you have an open field. It's almost like you have a garden and you sow the plants and you then see it blossom. That's probably one of the benefits of being an HR at a small company. But today there are a lot of things which have changed in the sense that there's gig economy, gig based hiring, then there's part time hiring, there's remote workers. So I'll start with gig based hiring. So where are you? Have you done gig based hiring? What has been the impact that you've seen in that particular space?
Okay, so when we build our team from the scratch,
Mm-hmm.
so there are different unpredictable substances as well that happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to gig economy, it can be actually useful for the startups and for the mid-level company. If we
Mm-hmm.
talk about pros and cons, the first thing that comes to my mind is it is cost effective actually. You don't have to offer them the perks and benefits and the compensation that you offer to your full-time employees. You don't have to worry about the office seating arrangement, the equipments, and every little detail, right? Plus the most important factor that you have the access to different kind of specialized skills which can actually complement your full-time workforce. Or you don't have to hire a full-time person for a short-term project if there is any, right? So that I think it saves you money over time.
Mm-hmm.
And if we talk about a few cons, I think there are some commitment issues, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to freelancers or contractors. So they are actually working with different clients at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Or there are chances that they might be looking for the future projects, even before completing yours.
True.
So there is some those commitment issues. Obviously, we find some difficult, in communication and coordination as well because they have their flexible timings and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it is also difficult to find a reliable freelancer who can constantly deliver the quality work for you.
That's
But yeah,
exactly
for
what
some,
I wanted to ask. So, how are you going to identify that this is the freelancer or set of freelancers that I work with? What is the process at your company where you screen out a few freelancers and then decide that, okay, these are the people that we are going to work with?
so see, in the recruitment process, either you are hiring freelancers, contractors, or a full-time employee. I
Mm-hmm.
think transparency and effective communication works really well. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if you are transparent about the budget and the expectations that you have from the people and the growth at your company, I think that work really well. So if if you inform already your freelancers and contractors that this is our budget, this is the work that we want to get done, and
Mm-hmm.
these are the future opportunities that we can collaborate on. So I think we get somehow like at the end we have those one or two people who actually align uh, rightly with our expectations, and somehow we find the right freelancer. Obviously it takes time, but yeah, it's a slow process, but we found someone who is actually interested in your profile, who actually understand your circumstances, that can be financial your company or project, and yeah, they are ready to work with you.
So, if you're comfortable, can you name like where do you go to find freelancers?
For me, LinkedIn works always, right?
Okay.
If you will check my profile, I have a good connection on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
That is around 545 lakh.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the biggest platform and one of the most important platform for me that I use for my recruitment.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the most of the freelancers and contracts, even full time, that people I have hired, I've got from the LinkedIn only.
Okay. That's actually new. I mean, nobody has told me they've used LinkedIn for hiring freelancers.
Yeah, I will tell
Maybe.
you that, I have never used Naukri for my, recruitment purpose.
Okay.
So that should come as a strange for you.
Yeah,
Even
that,
I
that
have been
that's
rejected just because, I didn't have any experience on Naukri portal.
okay.
And that was quite strange for me, actually.
Okay, interesting. Now, there's another point regarding startups, the work culture. There's a lot of gyan related to how to hire, but there's very little material as to how should an HR build the work culture inside the organization. So, how do you go about taking a mandate from the founders that this is the kind of company that we want to build? This is the kind of company culture we want to have. How can you as an HR help us do that? I'm pretty sure your founders would have some kind of a conversation with you. How did you go about implementing that?
See, when it comes, about work culture in the small company, it starts from the recruitment process only, first thing,
Okay.
and when you build your work culture, first thing you hire the kind of people around you, who actually influence your culture,
Hmm.
right? There's the first step, and there's the most important role of recruiter. My owner have hired me so that I can build the right people for the company. I can build the right team for the company. And the in your early days, and if you are building your team, it is really important to have the right set of people, because your people are the only asset you have,
True.
who will like predict your future success and your company culture. So when it comes to build that work culture, I think the first thing, people wants to work somewhere where they feel valued, where they feel appreciated, and where they can contribute in the betterment of company every day,
Hmm.
right? So we try to make our workplace in such a way that people don't hesitate to come and share their ideas, perspective, and their issues. They don't hesitate, or they are just open. There should be an open communication and transparency.
Hmm.
Second, about the small company, I think the salary is one thing, that stays in the competitive part, right? If you have to win the competition with the other industry or with the other companies in the marketplace, your salary offer should be competitive. That is the basic and most important factor of your recruitment, right?
Hmm.
Apart from that, you should emphasize more on your compensation and benefits packages, right?
Hmm.
Even if you have a light, or even if you have a limit budget for any profile, or for your depending on your financial circumstances, you can offer non-monetary incentives and other perks and benefits, and the compensation and rewards and recognition, whatever suits your profile, suits your company and budget. That can
Hmm.
actually help. In
Hmm.
today's time, remote work is something that is in trending, and the
Hmm.
flexible timings. Personally, I have used it as a selling point for my company.
Okay.
We offer flexible timings. We don't ask our employees that when will you come office, and how long hours you will be working. So flexible timing is something, and the remote work here and there, it can actually help you. Like for me personally, it has worked as a selling point. Most
Okay.
of the people have joined me despite of being a small team. People have joined my company, and I won't say the young people who have 8 or 9 years of experience, they are working with us.
Hmm.
So it has been an important tool for me, and really great, really helpful for me. So flexibility, or your remote work, and the compensation benefits, perks and benefits you offer to your employees. So it gives it gives the total weightage to your salary plus
Hmm.
your compensation thing.
Today, work-life balance is probably a very spoken about topic. Everyone is speaking about that. It was not the case probably 5, 10 years ago. And a lot of that comes down to how does the HR team create the culture inside the company related to work life balance. Now, we want to understand from you as to in your company, what kind of processes have you taken into consideration to make sure that there is this kind of a work life balance?
Okay, see, when it comes to the small company and work culture, people have two opinion. There is a one that employers, place unrealistic expectations on the
Yeah.
team, and which blur their, personal work and their professional work,
Hmm.
right? Then there are people who see it as a, intense work as a reflection of the entrepreneurial spirit.
Hmm.
And when you are a small company, we kind of look for the people who can meet our complex needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who can take a plenty of roles at once, who can work individually, independently as well in the team. Now,
Mm-hmm.
basically, who can bring and whom you can trust to drive your business.
Mm-hmm.
But there is, this saying that you have to provide something to get something,
Mm-hmm.
the basic rule. So if I talk about my work environment, the flexibility that I've already mentioned, we do. And the remote work here and there, that works a lot for me, for my employee retention and employee satisfaction as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we do provide works and benefits, that we have leave policy in such a way that we don't ask our employees that why are you taking a leave, why are you on a leave. If someone is texting me on Monday that I won't be able to make it to office today, we are pretty much okay with that,
Mm-hmm.
right? There are other few perks and benefits as well. We do provide health insurance, the PF and ESI. We do provide lunch, and in small company there is something, we provide something that large companies fail to do, and
Mm-hmm.
that is kind of intimate culture that we have.
Mm-hmm.
We celebrate every little occasion, from the
Okay.
birthday to the anniversaries, work anniversaries, marriage anniversaries, every festival, and it kind of helps us.
So you say
So
that helps in bonding.
yeah, that helps in bonding, and that actually create a work culture. When I ask my employees to fill that feedback form or survey form, the most thing that they love is that in their previous companies there were no such activities. There
Mm-hmm.
were no that personal connections, but now I think I know each employee of my team very personally. I know about their family, from where they are coming, and about their spouse or parents and everything. We have each and every detail of our family, so it's kind of a personal bond that we are building, the kind of work culture that we are fostering. So yeah.
That's wonderful to hear that. I mean, yes, I think every small company does try to do something to make sure that people come in, because collaboration is so important. And if you're
Right.
not collaborating or talking outside of work during work hours,
Right.
when you're working, you're only going to talk work, and it's going to become very boring. So it's a good point that you said regarding bringing people to bond together. Uh, I have one last question for you, and this is probably a difficult question, but I'll still want to hear your thoughts on that. Uh, you mentioned that startups have limited budgets, but to execute, you do need something, some amount of tools to get your day-to-day work done. I want to break this question into two parts. First is, what are the tools that you use as a startup to achieve your objectives, for hiring, for employee engagement, for culture, for all those things put together? We want to understand, A, what are the tools that you use? B, I want to understand is, how do you negotiate a budget with your own boss? That, okay, this is the budget I want to succeed in my activities.
Okay, so I will answer your second question first. When it comes to negotiating salary, so what I do, if I feel that our budget is not according to the market standard, I do research, and I do have proper report of mine,
Mm-hmm.
that this is a profile and this is other companies are offering in the industry,
Mm-hmm.
in this location and in this profile. Then I
Mm-hmm.
go to my manager, and then I said that there are hundred of companies who is hiring for the same role. They are offering this and this salary. So what are the chances if we won't offer them a competitive salary? That
Mm-hmm.
is zero eventually,
Mm-hmm.
right? But yeah, my owner, touchwood, they understand. But the thing that I mentioned, that our compensation and benefits program are structured in a way that we don't face much issue. And I try to emphasize on the whole compensation package instead of salary component only.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm talking to candidate, and when I'm talking and when I'm negotiating salary, I try to find out the beneficial solutions for both sides. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't only emphasize on the salary part, that this is our budget and we will be offering you this only, this is our last limit.
Mm-hmm.
I at the same time also emphasize that this is what we are offering along with the salary, that might other companies might not be offering you.
Mm-hmm.
One comes your flexible timings, one comes you can have work from home. We have this leave policies, we do these perks and benefits, we do provide lunch, we do have these and these activities in the workforce. So
Mm-hmm.
I emphasize on kind of total compensation, instead of just one salary component, and that helped me to negotiate salary with candidates as well, and my employer as well.
Okay.
And coming to your first question, the tools for the recruitment, if I say, LinkedIn comes first. LinkedIn tops the list for me.
Mm-hmm.
That has been kind of gold mine for me. Majority of the vacancies I have closed from the LinkedIn. Second
Mm-hmm.
comes Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
I have tried Naukri as well, but I didn't get very much positive response from Naukri. And there are other few portals as well, like Cutshot is there, Apna is there,
Mm-hmm.
one or two is also there.
Okay. Okay.
So
Fair enough.
yeah,
I think, yeah, that's it. I mean, thank you so much for taking time out. I think this is going to be interesting for young folks who want to join the HR field, and I think they're going to be a less scared about joining a startup as an HR professional. So thank you, Deepika. Thank you so much for your time.
thank you so much, Amrit. I just want to say one thing that every startup company starts small with big dreams.
True,
Obviously early days are quite unpredictable, but if you are
true.
someone fresher or even if experienced, believe me, you should work once in a startup or for a startup or a small company. It is full of exciting opportunities, learnings, and you never know like what is there for you.
I'm
So
sure people are going to keep that in mind. Sure. Thank you so
thank you,
much.
thank
Thank
you,
you for your
Amrit.
time. Bye bye.
Bye.